Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back for another Total War video. So as we all know, following the big gameplay reveal last week for Warhammer 3 Total War, where we had a good look at the survival battle mode, a bunch of YouTube creators including Loremaster of Sotek, Janet on occasion, Turin, and others had hands-on exclusive interviews with the developers of the game. All in all, they got something like 2 hours of interview time across these videos, which was fantastic because we got a good look into certain mechanics around the survival mode battle, but we also got a bunch of juicy questions asked with some very interesting answers. So having watched all these interviews, I went ahead and put this video together to condense all these interviews down into one short video that you can watch and get all the best bits out of. Think of it like an executive summary of everything we found out from the interviews after the gameplay video release. Let's get started. So we know all about the survival battle mode now. I'm not going to dive too far into it. I'm sure you've watched the shit out of all these creator videos, and I'm sure some of you are kind of sick of it, but I'm going to talk through a couple of things that were revealed in the interviews that weren't obvious from the gameplay. We will have 4 survival battles for each Chaos Lord, and they will all be completely different from each other. The landscape, the tower defense mechanics, the map size, look and feel, terrain, everything about each map will be different and unique to each lord, so this is something to be aware of definitely. Because these battles take place in the respective realms of chaos where winds of magic originate from, you will pretty much have an infinite supply of magic which will replenish 1 mana per 10 seconds. Winds of Magic overall has seen some rework and simplification, and you will be able to utilize them much easier in these kinds of battles. These battles will also come in co-op, multiplayer, and custom battle modes, so you can enjoy them in different ways, test different rosters against the AI, and play with your friends online, and lots more. So more info will come about these in the near future. We also have confirmation of more battle modes to come, including the Domination mode, which is essentially a hold as many capture points as possible to accumulate points and win type of mode. The more capture points you have, the faster it fills, and the more resources you get to spawn more reinforcement troops and hold off the enemy. Barricades and towers all come into play to defend these areas when captured, and much more, and will be exclusive to multiplayer modes only. So this is a really cool battle we'll see much more about in the next few weeks. We also have a bit more info on minor settlement battles which are being worked on. So generally, if you're fighting a battle at a minor settlement or near one, you'll have up to a 360-degree view of that settlement to make the landscape more immersive and possibly add more gameplay mechanics to the battle. Siege mechanics, rivers, lava flows, whatever. A lot more was hinted to be revealed soon about this, and the devs are very excited about it, so keep a keen eye on this one. Finally, a number of times throughout the interviews, we got a hint at more siege mechanics to be revealed in the future, as a lot of work has gone into it, so very excited about learning more about this and thought it warranted its own point here. Warhammer 1, Warhammer 2 had a pretty basic siege battle mechanic, so having this reworked, overhauled, having a lot more added to it in Warhammer 3 is a must. And it's really good to see the devs are excited about it, so can't wait to see more about this in the future. We all know that from corner camping to doom stacking, battles overall can be quite imbalanced depending on your factions, and multiplayer battles especially need a lot more policing to make it fair. So CA, it sounds like, are taking a lot of community feedback into account and putting a lot of work into making battles more engaging and making multiplayer battles more appealing to veterans and new players alike. So obviously, some of the questions the creators asked were bound to be about the graphics, look and feel of the units, etc., and I've condensed some of the more important points into this section. Graphics overall are getting a good looking into. From lighting to unit movement and responsiveness, everything is being touched up and upgraded as the game engine has improved over time. As well as that, some of the mechanics from Three Kingdoms is being brought over to Warhammer 3. Nothing revealed about what exactly, but a lot of good things happened in 3K, so I can only imagine the devs have heard all the community feedback from the game and brought some of that over to Warhammer 3, hopefully as much of it as possible. While the majority of the work is going into the new stuff for Warhammer 3, obviously, the devs are also keeping lots of things from Warhammer 2 that worked so well, but they're also improving minor things from Warhammer 2, so things like the spells, that could be reworked and made into multi-tier spells that play out when casting them, or like open field battles and how terrain can be a bit different, more varied. So lots more to come from this side of things that are going to be brought over from Warhammer 2. Things that you would expect would be the same might change, so keep an eye on this one. Finally, a big one in this section is that all the models that we've seen so far, and all the models for like the Chaos Lords, Kislev, Cathay, they're all going to be done from the ground up. They've tried to be as authentic to the lore as much as possible, it seems like, from working with Games Workshop and closely taking designs from their old world work. CA are putting a lot of effort into the designs of factions, the lore and rosters they come with, and how the narrative generally comes together. There's a lot to be excited for here. Games Workshop is obviously being a huge influence in how things look and feel, and together with the CA designers, we can already see some of the really fantastic results of this partnership via the gameplay reveal. It's also worth noting that we've only seen 30 to 50% of the Kislev and Khorne rosters so far, so a lot more to see from these rosters and the other factions as well in the near future. Finally, in this last section, I wanted to cover all the little things I picked up on that are super interesting that you may have missed. There will be 6 main races to play with, and the narrative will be centered around a Chaos God who has been wounded, and how these factions relate to this event. Perhaps how Kislev and Cathay take advantage of this to strike at the realms of chaos. Narrative is what drives the charm and engagement of strategy games, so there is no doubt in this final game of the series the devs are working really hard on a compelling story that keeps us interested and motivates us to keep going and care about the characters. A big one I wanted to leave towards the end here is that lords and heroes will have a wound threshold that hampers their effectiveness in battle. So this might seem like a minor point, but it's a really, really big one, guys. If you have a unit of swordsmen, for example, and they've sustained a 50% casualty rate, they will be winded. They will have a morale penalty and generally not be as effective in battle because there's less of them. Well, that same kind of logic and mechanic will now apply to single entity units. So a really simple example could be Turin is fighting in a battle against the Chaos Hordes and her health falls below 50%. She will be weakened and she'll need a heal or additional troops around her supporting her to keep up her fight. This is a big, massive change compared to previous Total War titles. Heroes and lords of this kind generally have been able to keep up the same level of fight and effort even below 50%. So to have to keep an eye on this and make sure that that doesn't fall below that, to always have a constant awareness of the fragility this comes with in a battle is going to make battles a lot more balanced. And it's going to make you a lot more engaged with how lords and heroes are playing out and what they're doing on the battlefield. The game in its current state is post-alpha, which means it's getting towards beta and that the game will likely be released in 4 to 6 months, just as rumored. What this means is that the game is essentially there in the bare bones, but they're now working on the kinks, the bugs, testing gameplay with creators and testers to take on feedback and polish the game until that final product. Point is, guys, lots may still change, but they have a fair idea already of how it will play and look right now. This also includes balance, guys, so don't pay too much attention to how strong the Cav are or how weak the enemy was in the gameplay reveal. That will absolutely change and everything will be rebalanced. So just something to keep in mind and look out for in the near future. Finally, guys, I wanted to end the video here with 2 bits of info that I think are going to blow your mind and be really, really excited about. The first is multiplayer campaign is a big focus, and more info will be revealed on this very soon. The devs in the interviews didn't want to give away too much, but what tells me about all of this is that multiplayer campaigning is going to return for this series, and it's going to be better than ever. So much more to come. Let's keep our eyes on this one. And lastly, they neither denied nor confirmed that Turin's father, Boris, would be in the game. In fact, one of the devs said word for word, "Well, who knows? Is he even dead, as he disappeared into the wastes as far as I know?" And there you have it. All these fantastic bits of info that came out of the interviews in one short, concise video for you. Hope you are as excited about what you've heard today as I am, and can't wait for more info to be revealed, which will likely be very, very soon. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and found it informative. If you did, give it a like and drop your thoughts and questions in the comment section below, and subscribe for more Total War content, gameplay, and news. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.